So what happens is when you're stressed, your body starts usually think that it's making sense for your body to overbreathe, right? So you start to inhale more often, which then causes your body to feel overwhelmed due to the increase of oxygen, and then leads to more stress in your brain. The faster you breathe, the shallower your breath will feel, and the less you will have the sensation to be able to breathe deeply into your rib cage, and it will feel restricted in your breathing. And what happens then is that a lot of people have this tendency to go and use Wim Hof method, the Wim Hof methods to regulate themselves. The problem with the Wim Hof is that it creates more hyperventilation. So people are being put, even though they breathe in a hyperventilated way in their daily life, they are going to be over breathing as well in their breathing practice, which then causes the sympathetic tone of your nervous system to be enlightened and heightened every time you do that, which then might create a fight and flight sensation that feels very good as you're used to it, but is actually not the most beneficial thing to do to your body. Also, when you hyperventilate, you blow off too much CO2, too much carbon dioxide, which then creates a waste of your CO2, which isn't good because it's essential. So what we want to do is we want to find a way to balance your CO2 and your oxygen input and output within 1 minute. Okay. So you can do that gradually by learning to exhale slower and focus on only nasal breathing so that your CO2 is not being wasted through your mouth. If you exhale through your mouth, more CO2 is going to be lost in space because breathing through your mouth is faster but creates a shallow breathing. Whilst if you exhale through your nose, you're going to be slower, which is what we want since we don't want to hyperventilate. When you do a breath hold, what happens is that your CO2 is rising gradually within your blood. This helps you to rebalance your system, which is what we want within a very short period of time to bring you back into the zone. Higher CO2 means better oxygen delivery. There is something that is called the Bohr effect that I'll be talking about as well. It helps your CO2 to rise, which then causes an increase of hemoglobin, and that helps you to release more oxygen in your blood and also in your muscles, which is what your brain wants. Your brain wants to have a higher delivery of oxygen, and your muscles want to have a higher delivery of oxygen, and therefore you need to have a higher CO2 tolerance, which you can achieve through breath holds. And then from that, as you do the breath hold, there's a shift in your parasympathetic, which is going to be triggered if you do holds of breath after an exhalation, as the hold of the breath triggers the parasympathetic nervous system, which is what you usually don't feel present if you're being very stressed. So within your stress, hold your breath after an exhalation for 10 to 50 seconds, as I was saying, so that your parasympathetic and your vagus nerve can be triggered, your CO2 tolerance can be increased, and we can restore a chemical balance within your body to calm your nervous system and to improve your oxygen delivery and to heighten your focus.